Dispose of the trash.
Take this! They got me flanked!
Not on my watch!
First strike! Unbreaking Dustin!
Are those arms even that variable?
Pesky airborne scoundrels.
Sounds like a job for yours truly.
Alpha! Win!
The enemy rules ours too.
You'll do it about that! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
Now we're never.
It's over!
Water, hear my call!
Win!
Now,
Turn the tables on!
there are still more left.
Right! No time to hold back! Here I come! It's over! Win! You're finished!
Nice, Law!
Leave it all to run.
Hey, I'm here too, you know. Well, someone seems in tip-top form.
Nothing new about that.
And still as humble as ever. I'll be taking this one. The water is stopping strong. Thanks, Kisara.
Sword Lane Alpha! With my turn! You're mine!
Here's a healing arm.
You're mine! Swallow Blade! Sword Lane Alpha! Win! Storm! Take this! It's over!
Now!
Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Now! Take this! It's over! Rising Falcon!
That does it!
Take this!
Now! Get toasty!
Bird Strike!
Right, next one!
Not a chance!
Already on.
Do it! Lightning or raging!
Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
Do you sense one of your friends, Hoodle? Mahag Sar. That makes 4 out of the 5 realms that I've visited now.
I wonder what kind of lord we're gonna find there.
It doesn't matter. If they try to get in our way, we'll take them down and that'll be that.
Let's dispose of the trash.
Sword Lane Alpha! This one's all mine!
Waterfall!
Burn it out!
If they rush you, you gotta jump for cover, okay?
Not a chance!
Smash you!
I'll be saving this one!
I'm not done!
We won that by a mile! Get lost!
Take this!
Where are you going? They're surrounding us!
Swallow Blade! Sword Lane Alpha!
I got it!
Glimmer Dragon!
Mega
You're
Red!
mine! You're finished!
Mega
Sword Lane Alpha! Win!
We're in the home stretch, guys!
What she said? Eyes on the prize.
That focus goes double for you, Law!
Me? How come I get singled out?
Lunar corruption!
Charge like that could easily be fatal. Just
A comfortable win.
Hoo hoo hoo. Hoo. Hoo hoo hoo. Hoo. Maybe something's going on in the forest. dispose of the trash.
Slap! Come and face me! You're mine! It's time! Rising Falcon! Do it! Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
See that?
That training's paying off! You're mine! It's over!
Do it!
Chill!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished! That's some power you wield.
You're the one who did the heavy lifting. A fish! You saw it!
I didn't realize there was a pond here.
Yeah, this is Taka Pond. And it happened to have saved my life once upon a time.
What do you mean?
As a kid, I survived life under the past lords by escaping here when I needed to. It's terrible to swim in, but great for catching a bite for dinner away from Renin eyes. Bear in mind, our rations back then weren't enough to live off of. You had to take matters into your own hands if you wanted enough food to survive.
But how did you catch them? With your bare hands?
That might take a while. Fish are prone to swim away at the first sign of trouble. I'd put bait or a lure on a line and use it with a fishing rod. You must not be familiar with fishing if this sounds new to you. Here, let me show you how it's done.
Hey, what do you think about that spot?
Good idea. I'll go for that one. Ha! There we go. Ugh. 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 I'll catch something bigger next time.
Maybe you could keep it as a pet.
Oh, we've got a lively one. I did it! But I'm not gonna quit now.
Oh, yeah!
I've got something. She's got a good size to her, all told.
That flapper was a true fighter.
Hup. I've got something. Well, that wasn't much of a challenge.
Guess it's important to stay calm.
And that's all there is to it.
Wow. It seems like you need to have good reflexes to catch anything. I don't know if it's really for me. Kisara? I think I've seen enough.
Oh, sorry. I guess I'm just in my own little world when I go fishing.
Looks like we're going to be here for a while.
That's how fishing goes. You wait for a bite, and then the real battle begins. Miguel told me that different fish live in different regions, and you have to pick the right rod and lure for what you're hoping to catch.
But that doesn't change the fact it's a giant time sink.
Of course, each fish has its own unique flavor, too. And some of them are supposed to be extremely delicious.
When you put it like that, maybe it's worth me trying my hand at fishing after all.
You're just in it for the food.
I was hoping we'd get to fish during our travels. And it just so happens I made sure to grab my brother's old rod before I left Vicente. So, if you ever feel like fishing when we've got a little downtime, just let me know.
Good to hear. Thanks for showing us.
Okay!
I'm always amazed what healing arts can do.
Just doing my job. No need to thank me.
Hey. Is it just me, or have those two barely spoken a single word to one another?
I know, right? But after everything that happened with Miguel, is it really any wonder?
Kinda puts a damper on the whole journey though, huh? How long do you think they're gonna keep this up?
If it bothers you that much, why don't you ask them?
Why do I have to ask?
How come you walk together like that?
She really doesn't beat around the bush.
You mean Kisara and myself?
You hadn't noticed? You've been practically joined at the hip ever since we left Vicente.
I guess it's force of habit, most likely. I was always ready to protect him, should the need arise. It sort of came with the job description.
Right. From being in the Elder Menancia Guard. Although, Dohalim's pretty capable of defending himself, isn't he?
Having guards doesn't necessarily mean the one being guarded is weak. No one's perfect all the time.
Even so, it's not like they're entirely wrong, Kisara. You're no longer in my employ, after all.
I don't know. I mean, if it's what she's used to and you're both comfortable with it, then who are we to judge?
But she doesn't serve him anymore. It isn't normal for her to keep following him around like she still does.
You know, she's probably right. And a lot has changed over the last few days. I guess it wouldn't hurt to rethink our relationship in light of the new circumstances. Perhaps I'll give it some thought after all. Does that sound all right by you?
Of course.
You might want to stop asking his permission for every little thing while you're at it.
Sorry. It's not that easy, shaking off old habits. I'll probably need a little time to get fully used to it. I've noticed that sometimes we come across enemies who fight like you, and try to dodge our attacks at the last second.
I hate those guys. I can get some hits in when they move into attack, but otherwise they slip past damn near everything else I throw at them.
If what you're seeking is a way to more reliably hit them, there is a solution.
Try to outclass them on reflexes?
I possess the ability to command Earth elemental beings to some extent. They emerge as the land itself and take root on my command. They will swiftly bind the enemies, at which point you can dispatch them.
Huh?
What he means is that he can make plants grow to hold the enemies in place. At least I think that's probably what he's saying.
I'm glad at least one of us understands him. So basically, if we find an enemy that likes to dodge, we should let Dohalim handle it.
I shall do what I can within my modest means to help.
Dohalim's fighting style is... what's the word I'm looking for? Subdued? No...
Do you mean elegant, perhaps?
Yeah, that's the word. For better or worse, you can definitely tell he's cut from posh Renin cloth.
And he's not just skilled with the staff either. He can also use astral arts, including healing ones. I can see how he made it to the position of a lord.
You flatter me, but my fighting techniques merely come from a style that aims to conserve energy by minimizing body movement.
Is that why you wait until the last second before you dodge attacks? To avoid unnecessary movements?
No, I do that to sharpen my senses. I find that doing so is an effective means of drawing out my innermost strength.
Oh yeah, I've noticed you look stronger and strike out with your rod more after you dodge attacks. Guess that's why.
Still, it's a risk. Don't you ever worry you'll dodge at the wrong moment?
Then, it'll be just as well.
Huh?
It's nothing. Let us continue.
Hey, that looks pretty good.
Why are you looking at me like that?
That armor you wear is standard issue for the Menancian Guard, right?
Originally, I've added some flair to it in a lot of places.
I noticed, especially with that open back.
We guardsmen pride ourselves on never showing our back to our enemies. It's my way of making myself live up to that. Plus, it makes it that much lighter and easier to maintain.
Dohalim, do you have anything to say about this?
Every guardsman is allowed to wear their armor as they see fit.
And you, La?
Huh? Why are you asking me?
all done. Come and eat.
You okay, Xion? You're not eating very much.
What's wrong? Do you not like the cheese fondue that you made?
Yeah, I'm used to seeing you more excited about food.
You're not feeling sick, are you?
No, I'm fine. It's nothing like that. It's just...
What?
I guess I just don't understand what the appeal is. We could just as easily put everything on a plate and pour the cheese on top of it instead.
I suppose it lies in being able to decide exactly how much cheese you want. There's also something to be said for enjoying how it all turns out. It's fun.
That's fine and all, but I wish the plate-to-mouth time was shorter.
I think I understand. You don't like having to put in so much effort into eating something, do you?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Actually, now that I think about it, you're a way less fussy eater than you look, Xion.
In my book, there's no one right way to eat a meal. Tuck in, take your time, be dainty or devouring. As long as you enjoy the food, that's what counts.
There's no need to stand on ceremony while we're out camping in the wilderness.
Yeah, you're right. In that case, don't mind if I do.
I've never seen someone dump that much cheese on a meal before. Kisara, let's talk for a bit. Maintaining your shield? It's becoming a familiar sight.
Miguel was the one who taught me how to maintain my equipment after I first joined the Guard. Now, it's just a part of my routine.
Your brother always seems to come up whenever I talk to you.
That's because we had no other relatives, so it was just the two of us growing up. He was my idol, the one I looked up to and wanted to be like. When I became a guardsman, Lagiel wasn't too pleased to see me at first. It was Miguel who really welcomed me aboard.
Lagiel? Oh, right. She was Miguel's second in the Gold Dust Cats, wasn't she?
That's right. She's always been a very critical and down-to-earth person. In other words, the complete opposite of a dreamer like me.
You're more an idealist than some pie-in-the-sky dreamer.
Even so, that's my brother's doing. He'd never let me stop seeing a brighter world. He always did what he could to keep me smiling and happy.
You must have meant a lot to him.
He wasn't just kind, either. He always worked so hard to set an example for me and everyone else around him. He was a true big brother. So much so that when he thought I was asleep, he'd slip out of the house to go training on the outskirts of town.
You seem to know a lot about it.
That's because I only pretended to be asleep and would follow after him. You know what? I'm at a good stopping point with my shield. If you've got time, how about I tell you a couple more Miguel stories?
I guess I'd better get comfortable.
I'll take watch tonight. It's okay. Before we go, do you guys have everything?
Something feels odd here. Be on your guard.
I just noticed none of you other Danans have spirit cores. Why is that?
Both of my parents were part of the resistance in Calaglia. In fact, my birth was kept a secret from the Renans.
Mine too. We always lived in hiding, so I never had a spirit core embedded in me like I was supposed to.
What about you, Alphen? You were a slave in Calaglia before all this, weren't you?
To be completely honest, I'm not sure why I don't have one. All the other Danan slaves around me did. I was the only exception. They tended to keep their distance from me to avoid attracting any attention from the soldiers, because of my mask and all. What about you, Kisara? Do you still have your spirit core?
No. I was able to find a good Renan doctor who's sympathetic to our kind, and had them remove it before I left. They did such a great job, the procedure didn't even leave a scar.
One of the benefits of coexistence, huh?
I know that once the spirit vessel was shut down, There wasn't much need for me to hurry. But still, I didn't like having that mark of servitude lingering on me any longer than I had to. It may sound a little strange to hear me say this, but I'm just me now. Not a guardsman or a slave. I'm my own woman. And this is my chance to have a new beginning.
This sure is one rugged road. You'd think they'd keep this at least a little better maintained, right?
Why spend energy fixing that which is rarely used? Repairs require time and effort, which in our world means slaves, often in great numbers. For you, it may be a simple request, but that can quickly become another's difficult burden. Nobody gains anything without someone expending effort.
And you know, somehow that someone always ends up being a Danon, while the Renans are the ones who gain.
True enough. Ideally, in a perfect world, I think it's only fair that the ones who need it should be the ones to perform the work.
However, when doing so could be dangerous like it is here, there are many who would prefer that it be others who risk their lives in their stead.
So, what you're saying is that people will just put up with the inconvenience until someone else comes along to fix it for them?
Indeed. And it is those who can no longer bear that feeling that inevitably take action. Much like the Danons in our group do so now. As strange as it may be to hear such a thing from the likes of myself.
It's true that most of the Danons in Calaglia have been resigned to just accepting things as they are. Still, we can't just blame them for...
What are you making that face for? You're not worn out already, are you?
Nah, just regretting I ever said anything in the first place.
I've got a really bad feeling about this.
Here I go! Sword Ring Alpha! Almost there! Take this! There! Now I'm in the clear! Rising Rocket! Eat Zero! It got fire!
I've got one! Let him march and handle it!
Sword Ring all yours! You're mine! Sword Ring Alpha!
Here's evil!
Here I come! Come one, come all! Devastation! You're done! We're winning now!
Here it goes! We got the advantage!
Good. Just have to make sure we keep it.
Don't worry, cause Raw's on it.
I'm on! Take it!
All in
Sword Ring Alpha! Do it! First strike!
We can really make weapons with this? All right.
There's nowhere to run from my arts! When he slows down, that's our chance!
It's like trying to keep up with a wall!
You require a hand. You're finished! I'm just getting no further! Take this! Swallow blade!
Now or never.
It's over!
In a bind?
You're mine! Rip its hair! Swallow blade!
Now I'm in the groove.
Sever its
Let's tear him up.
Too fast!
Stand back. I'll trip it up. Take this!
Wind! Here I come!
Hear me! Flame of fury!
Rising Falcon! You're done! You're mine! Swallow blade! Sword Ring Alpha!
Get on it now!
All yours, Kisara!
There!
My turn! Take this! Rising Falcon! Winter Dragon! Wind!
Tunnel!
You're finished! Lunar Rondo!
Now!
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
Got some interesting moves there, Dohalim. I'm glad you're on our side.
I'm simply glad to hear that I can make myself useful to you all. Huh?
What's wrong?
We seem to have come across some rather unusual objects.
What, you mean that pile of garbage?
No mere garbage, I assure you. Still, I've never seen anything shaped like it before. I'm intrigued.
Are you curious about this stuff, Rinwell?
Yeah. I think he might have found some old Danon relics. They look like the remains of a bunch of objects that disappeared after the Renans first invaded.
And yet here I am, holding them without so much as a second thought. I imagine the sight must be unsettling to you.
Not really, just that it must be nice to be a Renan who has time to indulge in stuff like that, unlike the rest of us.
Are you interested in this stuff too, Dohalim?
Charmed may be a better turn of phrase. I simply love objects that can give me a sense of what their maker was thinking, the history that went into their creation. You see, we Renans have hardly any such objects that trace back to our distant past.
I still don't understand what you two find so intriguing about it, though.
Why not? We're talking about our own culture here.
I get that, but it's not like this stuff is any use now, does it? It's just old. Real old.
Oh, but it does. Holding it in your hands like this, one can feel and engage with the distant past in a way no history book can ever accomplish.
I'll take your word for it. Well, seeing as it's Danon history, just make sure you're careful with it. All right, Dohalim?
But of course.
I sense a strange power from this.
There's always room for improvement.
Visibility along this path will remain limited for some time. Take care not to get ambushed.
I'm surprised you know the terrain here so well. Lords don't strike me as having much time for wandering in the woods.
Sometimes I would take strolls along here when I wished to be alone.
You always did have a bad habit of disappearing without telling any of us guardsmen.
Forgive you!
No further! Eat this! Stop!
Lunar corruption!
Hurricane!
Hurricane! Raging Ascent! Duel of the
Pesky airborne scoundrel!
Sounds like a job for yours truly!
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno! Astral Arts?
That's my cue! Hear my call!
Shut him down!
Astral energy!
Say no more! Got it!
Well done!
You're mine!
Cuddle!
Rising Falcon! Enough right!
Raven, here's the
Soaring Alpha! Crush!
Mega ray!
Go away! Prepare
to be sealed, oh fleet of foot. Actually, perhaps found is more appropriate.
Less talking, more doing.
You're finished! It's over! Sword Rain Alpha! Double Demon Fang!
Your power is a spectacle to behold.
I'm
You
not
picked the
trying
wrong
to
fight!
Still, it's a part of you. Embrace it.
With this, I can become even stronger.
Out of our way!
Here I come! Sword Rain Alpha! Here I come! You're finished!
Water, hear my
Sword Rain
power!
Alpha!
So good with airborne
Double
fire.
Demon Fang!
Wait,
Total devastation!
Glimmer Flying free! Now,
Kill!
this ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
See you continue on in that vein. Something you wanted to say? Go for it! Prepare to crumble! Barely a blip on our radar.
It's so hilly around here. I can feel my feet getting blisters.
That's mountain hiking for you. It can be pretty tough if you're not used to these sorts of trails.
I take it you're comfortable with them then?
Oh yeah, we used to run up and down.
No backing down!
Slash!
They got me flanked!
Sword Rain Alpha! Double Demon Fang!
And here!
Take this! You're finished! I'll put you through! Take this! It's over! Sword Rain Alpha!
What's this?
I'll be saving this one! Leave the enemy's arc to me!
Milky place here!
It's over! Eat this!
Here goes!
You're mine! My turn! Sword Rain Alpha!
Bullseye, Sion! Nice!
Get out of my sight line or you'll get hit!
Right, sorry, Stag!
It's over!
Double!
It's over! Sword Rain Alpha! Win!
Do it! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
With your flames and my technique,
We're stronger together than we are apart. Little help!
No escape!
Mega Ray!
Sword Rain Alpha!
Armor won't save you!
You're finished!
I'm like bait to them!
You're finished! Sword Rain Alpha!
Watch it!
Dragon Swarm! First strike! Here I come! Burn it!
Astral energy!
Say no more! Got it!
Well done!
Here I come! It's over! Now! Tear!
Red!
Luna Rondo!
Do it!
Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclops! Hold up! Is this as valuable as I think it is?
Forgive you!
Here I come! No further! First strike! I'll run you through!
Lightning orb! Lightning to death! Here's a thunder blade! Cover the caster!
Not a chance! No escape! Swallow blade! Sword Rain Alpha! Take this! It's over!
Sleep now! Healing
Take this! Come and face me! Here I come!
This one's mine!
The enemy wields arcs too.
We'll soon see about that!
What's this?
You're mine!
Astral energy!
Say no more.
Got it.
Well done.
Here I go. Sword Rain Alpha.
Do it!
Light burst forth!
Radiant Genesis! Here's a
Light
healing
Burst. I'm on it. That's enough. Do it. Remove.
Astral Energy!
Say no more. Wow, that was a nice move there.
I know, right? Bet you couldn't do it.
So it's a grab here, thrust the left leg, then use the right arm to leverage over.
Stop memorizing my move!
That equipment should come in handy.
More Danon runes here too, I see.
What were people even thinking back then? Trying to build anything around here.
Maybe they just had that much time and energy on their hands.
Get lost!
Take this. It's over.
Dragon Shell!
Sword Rain Alpha. Eternal Devastation. Double Demon Fang.
Just getting started!
Take this. You're finished.
Primed and ready!
You're mine. I'll take you all on. Dragon Swarm. Double Demon Fang. Take this. Take this. You're finished.
Carved through armor!
We've turned the tables on it.
There are still more left!
Right, no time to hold back.
Do it! In the wind! Air thrust! Mega
You're
ray!
mine.
Steering
It's over.
Rolling storm!
Sword Rain Alpha.
Do it! Lock! Get toasty!
Burn Strike.
I'm even stronger than before.
I sure have built up a sweat with this hike.
Rest assured, we have reached the top. It's all downhill from here, quite literally.
So Mahag Sar's just up ahead then?
Indeed. If you look, across this mountain is the Lord's Keep.
It'll be a breeze. Get in, get out.
Eat dirt. Kick it.
Not on my watch!
I'm not done.
Lightning condemn!
Sword Rain Alpha. Double Demon Fang. Eternal Devastation. Sword Rain Alpha.
Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
My turn. You're mine.
I'll finish you here and now!
You're mine. You're finished.
Do it!
All mine.
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished. I still got a ways to go.
Let's dispose of the trap.
You picked the wrong fight. Take this. Sword Rain Alpha. Eternal Devastation. Here I come. It's over. Hurricane Thrust.
Tear you apart!
Rising Falcon.
Annihilation!
Take this. It's over.
Gemini Aqua!
Win.
Charge Malevolence!
You're mine. It's over. Rising Falcon. Take this. Do it. Hurricane Kisara.
Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Am I on a roll or what?
Well, look who's in a bright and shiny mood.
What's with that shining foe over there?
I've got a really bad feeling about this. This one's mine. Not on my watch.
This one's all mine. Power Blade, ignite! Here I come.
Hear my call.
It's over.
Wind Astral
strike!
Right, next one! Our next
Already
break.
on!
Reload!
Sword Rain Alpha! Rip its tear!
Dance to the wind!
Severing Wind! I'm on it! Talon Hurricane! It's over! Swallow
Do it!
Blade! Remove!
Astral energy!
Say no more.
My turn!
Into the shadow! Astral energy!
Sword Rain
Do
Alpha!
it! Raging cascade!
That's quite a
Severing
talent.
Wind!
Your father once told me to say no more. So even my dad does.
It's over!
Eagle assault!
All aboard the victory train!
Overconfidence can bite you in the butt.
What's that big tower over there?
We should be able to cook here. Did we really just spend that much money?
There are still so many creatures we don't know about.
Have you been writing stuff down about what we fight?
Yep. It's actually pretty fun to observe them from afar.
Kisara, let's talk for a bit.
Sorry for rambling on so much about my past earlier.
Don't sweat it. It was fun hearing you reminisce about the good old days.
Come on, you don't have to pretend with me. I know I can tend to go on sometimes, when it comes to my brother.
You said it, not me. Anyway, I don't think it's something for you to be embarrassed about.
Hey, Alphen. When you were a kid, was there ever a time when you had to bury someone younger than you?
Well, it's hard to say. I'm guessing that you have, though.
Yeah. During the previous crown contest, with the Lord before Dohalim. Life back then was truly hell. I think that's why I tried to ignore what Miguel was telling me for so long. Because I was afraid of going back to such a dark time. Of losing hope. I wanted to believe in our paradise so much that I doubted the one person I should have trusted most. I don't blame blame Dohalim for that. I simply didn't want to face facts. And I ended up trying to project my ideals onto everyone else.
It's strange. Whenever you and Dohalim talk about Menancia, it's always like it's some big failure. We're talking about fixing 300 years worth of damage here. Isn't it a bit optimistic to think it was all going to be resolved after only 5?
You might be right. Maybe it was a mistake when Menancia... No. When I decided to stop seeing the darkness in our society. I have to admit the truth. To myself, first of all. I'll take watch tonight. It's okay. Rise and shine. We're almost ready to leave.